Good evening, friends and viewers of Aware and Care. Welcome to your weekly health update here on Aware and Care, where we talk to Dr. Ambika Nair, who's the Chief Consultant and co-founder of Shantigram Group of Companies, a weekly Ayurvedic perspective of taking care of our health, our well-being, body, mind, and soul together. We talk and discuss about various health concerns that we have and that we need to know more on the organic side of it and how to heal it from internally. So in today's episode, we're going to have a discussion with Dr. Ambika Nair and check with her on something that we all fear at some point of time. In a few episodes before, we had spoken about fear, how fear grips our life. But then there's also that a moment in life where we freeze. And there's a freezing of the body, there's a freezing of a certain organ of the body, there's freezing of the face. And many of us wonder that it could be paralysis. Now, before dwelling more into it, I think let's first welcome Dr. Ambika Nair. Good evening, Dr. Nair. Welcome to Aware and Care.
Namaskaram. How are you?
Namaskaram, Doctor. I'm very good. Wonderful feedback for our program, and people are now reaching out and feeling more comfortable to come out with their questions and fears, which is an excellent feedback for us, because that is what we want the conversations to happen about our healthcare system and what we can do about the health. Now, today's episode, I really want to come directly to the point that many people talk about strokes or other kind of freezing moments in their life where, a certain body organ is not moving. We may go to those organs at some other different point, but let's start with the facial paralysis that we've heard quite often. There's a twitching of the eye, we see a drooping of the mouth on one side, and then we come to know it's Bell's palsy.
Yeah, it is called Bell's palsy.
Okay, so today let's try to understand what this problem is. We are seeing many cases around us happening more and more often. Some people are talking about it, some people are hiding from it, and once they recover or in the process of recovery, we come to know. And then we have lots of questions. Why did it happen? Why does it happen? So let's start with the basic about this problem, Bell's palsy.
First of all, when you get, like a Bell's palsy, that when you get up in the morning, you will find that, your face is like not normal.
Mm-hmm.
One side has gone to, you cannot make any changes on the face.
It's a little numb and crooked, huh?
Not only numb. Some days it will be painful. Sometimes, crawling will be there. Like if it is not fully facial paralysis, okay. Otherwise, like little shifting.
Yes.
Then, like heaviness will be there. And your eyes, the first thing what you will see is that you won't be able to close your eyes.
Right.
Okay, so that, like that is actually very, like slouching of the face, like facial muscles. So towards one side, actually. But you should not get upset with this. If you get panic, then it can, like even blood pressure can go high. You can get into much complications, because this can be treated very easily.
Okay.
A maximum the 3-4 weeks or 5-6 weeks maximum.
No. Okay. I'm getting a little doubt here. You're saying basically everybody who wakes up in the morning has a little bit of this problem, but with blood circulation and other things, it gets back to normal.
No, I'm telling you about the signs and symptoms of facial palsy.
Okay.
Otherwise, normal people, they are perfectly all right, because when you get up in the morning, you don't have a facial palsy. You're perfect. Okay, but I'm telling how they will find, because they will get panic when they cannot close the eyes.
So you're saying this happens only in the morning? That's the first time somebody observes it?
No, see, some days it happens in the sleep also. So otherwise, see, when you are like so much of like cold air, it comes on your face. Some days it happens like this. Any ear infection, it can happen. Because I have seen cases like that actually. So is there any ear infection also? Any viral infection, virus infection, herpes? There are so many things, which can, cause all this facial palsy.
So is there a misconception that it only happens because of a stroke? It can happen without a stroke also, right?
No, this is not a stroke actually. People get, confused. They will think that, I got hemiplegia. It is not hemiplegia. It is a facial palsy which can be treated very fast. But only problem is if you get panic, you get into problems.
Okay. So what age group gets affected with this?
Any age group you can have, but like whether female or male, and even children I have seen like a 9-year-old, 8-year-old, and I have seen children having facial paralysis.
Yeah. what are the risk factors that lead to here? What are the reasons behind it? Is it blood circulation? Is it a nerve related, or is it a muscle related problem?
Because actually there is a seventh cranial nerve is there, which is giving, you know, like a circulation, you know, like feeding the facial muscles and the ear also. So if anything, if it is like severed or damaged, some trauma can happen. So anything can happen to that, like some accidents, you know, like a face is so much crushed or anything like that. You know, such people also can get into facial palsy.
Okay, so when you say that a trauma or an accident related, does it happen immediately, or sometimes an accident happened 10 years ago and then the effect comes 10 years later?
No, 10 years ago and all, it will not happen like that. But in certain cases, it can happen. But if there is any other infection later,
okay,
otherwise it will not happen.
Okay. So
And we have seen in the severe winter, because I have seen that cases coming to me. You know, like they will tell that, you know, like numbness is there, some crawling is there. I can't move my face. It was very painful and severe headache. Only on one side actually.
Okay.
So variation in the temperature also sometimes it can happen.
Okay.
But mostly with the infection. Yeah.
So you basically started about basic symptoms about how it actually feels like. So what is the progression? How does it happen? What is the first symptom? This is the second and third. When somebody actually panics and realizes it's Bell's palsy, what's the progression for it?
Progress actually, because they won't be able to, you know, the taste will not be there.
Okay.
Drooling of saliva will be there. The pattern of the saliva, sometimes it will become very thin, sometimes it will become very thick. Tears also, because the eyes are open, one eye is open. It is, you know, like, then, you know, like, sometimes it will be like a tear will be too much. Some people will get dry eyes also with that.
And it affects only one side of the body, face, or it affects both the sides?
No, only one side.
Only one side. And there will definitely be a doubt that somebody in the family has it, or a cousin has it, or a grandmother has it. Is it hereditary, or is it just?
No, I have not seen any hereditary cases actually. But you know, like it can happen, because I know if any problem is there only. Otherwise, I don't think that it can happen.
Friends, so today we are talking about Bell's palsy, and just like as doctor just mentioned about the basic symptoms about it, we will definitely go into diagnosing this problem and treatment. The first thing that we need to get out of our system first is that it's not hereditary. That also makes it more important for us to know what causes it and what we should do about it, so that, you know, we all know about it, because anybody could get affected with this particular problem. So what are the other internal causes apart from external, like injuries, that could lead to this? Anything to do with your health condition, thyroid, diabetes, cholesterol, or, you know, any other pain or muscle?
Anything can lead to this, but it is only related with the seventh cranial nerve.
Okay.
Actually, otherwise it is not like, you know, and you know, some people will tell I had a lot of pain, you know, behind the ear. Not only inside the ear, behind the ear, you know. And you know that they will tell that I won't be able to hear the sound, because sensitivity to sound is also there.
Okay. And in your experience, have you seen people with occipital neurology or something, with severe migraines or headaches?
So many. Like 18 years, 25 years, they are on, you know, like taking migraine medications. Then they come to us and we do treat them very well.
You've just taken me a little in a shock moment there to understand that so many people are coming to my mind talking about this. So as we progress into the next stage of understanding how to diagnose this problem, basically internally a person knows that these symptoms are coming. Does it happen overnight, or it just comes gradually? One day you have
it is all of a sudden. Actually, it will not get like overnight actually.
Oh, it's all
okay, because sometimes it can happen like that within seconds. You understand? It's not like but some people will, because they are sleeping. That's what I told you. When you get up in the morning, you know, that you can see when you know, like your eyes cannot be like closed, face is moved towards one side, you know, like that's that.
So the first instinct for anybody who has Bell's palsy, and the first time they come to know about it, is to rush to the ER. But what are the basic tests done at that point of time?
They will do the MRI to rule out any other problems. Sometimes the tumor can be there. there are so many predisposing factors are also there.
Okay.
Okay, so then they will rule out whether any other virus infection is there. Blood work also will be done, and they will check, whether any clot formation, any other like cerebrovascular accident or anything like that. That will be
meningitis and those any brain fever.
Yeah, brain fever and all, because Bell's palsy is very seldom actually.
Okay, very seldom.
Okay, yeah, because actually this is 100% related only with the seventh cranial nerve.
Okay, so Dr. Anayar, do let us know, do people who, when they have Bell's palsy, is that pain also, or is it only
no, pain will be there. Some people will have too much of pain. So, it is not like a trigeminal neuralgia, but this pain is different actually, because they can see there is the evidence is there. It is shifting to one side. It is already shifted to one side. So in Ayurveda, we call it as Haridra. Okay, so okay, then we take care of that actually.
Me too. Okay, so now we have tried everything outside. So when we have come to Ayurveda, we are talking to Dr. Ambika Nair, and she's going to give us the best options available from an Ayurvedic perspective to treat Bell's palsy. First thing we want to know foremostly is it controllable or is it treatable?
It is 100% curable.
That sounds so good.
Okay, not even treatable, curable.
Curable, okay, it's 100% curable. So that's such a hopeful statement to start off this conversation about understanding the treatment options in Ayurveda for Bell's palsy. And friends, if you have any questions regarding any health concern, please feel free to comment or to reach out to the doctor and her entire team. We will take up that topic in the upcoming sessions also. So today we're talking about Bell's palsy. So a patient with Bell's palsy and who has tried all kind of electro treatments and other kind of treatments has come to the doorstep of an Ayurvedic center, here in this case Shantigram. So what are the steps involved? What kind of a case history is made for a person with Bell's palsy?
They will not come directly to the Ayurveda center. So they will be going to the ER, as you said. So they will be treating them with steroids and everything. And that then only they will come to us when it is not working, like a properly taken care. It will be managed at that time, then they will come to us. Then we will see the pulse, and we will see 99% of the cases will be aggravation of Vata.
Okay.
Okay, so then we will see that, like their Vata Prakopana. So we will see that how to take care of that. Nasyam is done in such cases, Karnapuranam is done, and even like Pichu will be done on the facial side, and special massages are done for the face. And after a few days, you can see that how, like maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you can see how the, like a patient will be improving. That they will understand after a few days itself.
Okay. Dr. I know this is a very, very difficult and a tacky question to ask you, but in your experience, people who have Bell's palsy, have you often seen that they always have an underlying health condition, or it is not the same for everybody? Somebody has diabetes.
Some people, in elderly people, I have seen with the blood pressure, diabetes, or any other, health conditions will be there, thyroid and everything. But, like a Bell's palsy is a different entity.
Okay. So what are the side effects of having Bell's palsy? I mean, if there are people are like, oh, I'm 75, I don't need to get myself treated, or I'm 65. Very rarely does it happen, but the mind is a funny organ which takes care of everything and also messes up everything. It is always a mind game many a time when the treatment starts. So when somebody comes with that mindset, do you see that this problem can lead to other problems also?
No, these people will come, they want to look better. They will not tell that, because actually if somebody in their family is bringing the patient, means they will see that their parents are taken care of properly.
Okay.
Okay. And, because they won't get the taste. They're eating, they won't be able to, because when they put it, it will not go inside properly. It's very sad, actually. It's very sad, actually.
That was definitely my next question coming up to you, that when you mentioned about taste and when you mentioned a drooping of the face, eating definitely becomes very, very difficult for those patients, and nutrition is such an important part for any kind of healing that we need.
Absolutely.
So how do you feed the patients, or what kind of nutrition is provided?
No, we give them to give khichdi only at that time.
Okay.
like we'll tell what to put according to their constitution. We will tell them what diet, but not like chapati or anything like that. Not hard, only cooked food.
Only cooked food.
Semi-solids or like soups.
And
it will be warm. Yeah.
And have you, in your experience, seen that somebody has been recommended surgery because of Bell's palsy?
No, if any other damage is there in the ear, then they will go for surgery. But surgery also, because surgery cases are like even after surgery, so many people come to me. Yeah, we have seen that, but that is maybe 3-4 cases, not more than that. All these years, I'm telling you. Yeah.
So many questions are coming, and I'm sure I represent all our viewers who must be having so many questions as they're popping into my mind too. Have you seen, or is it possible that somebody gets Bell's palsy for a day and then, or a week, and then suddenly they become okay before they go to the doctor, and then they neglect?
Definitely. We have seen cases like that.
Oh, okay. So, so at the first symptom or the first sign of it, I think they should always go to the doctor and see that it does not reoccur, or there is no.
No, because actually, sometimes because that muscles will be like trembling of the muscles are there, like the pain will be there. Then like some people ignore it actually. Okay, but if they go, when they go to the doctor, nothing will be there. So when they come back after 3-4 days, some people get it.
So friends, this is so difficult to even sometimes, think about questions or what can possibly happen, because every body is different. And in Ayurveda, it is about your body composition also, Vata, Pitta, like Dr. Ambika Nair has always been mentioning. No two symptoms are the same. No two recoveries are the same. Every body's treatment is done in a different way. Now, Doctor, you were mentioning about trembling. So the twitching of the cheek and the twitching of the eye, it does happen. So these are some things that we should constantly be observing and noting as to how frequently it's happening. Is it happening because of too much of nighttime?
No, that is actually different actually. That is because of the nerves issue, but this is another 7th cranial nerve.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so now let's do some more research about the treatment process. Apart from the nutrition, what kind of treatments are recommended? Are they massages or exercises or consultation?
This is all Panchakarma, not massages. It is Panchakarma, 5 ways to detoxify the body, regenerate your body, and treat for the root cause actually. Then only patient will become perfect.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay, so that the talam is done. There are so many according to the need of the patient, according to the disease, we do treat them.
Yeah. That's how it is done. Okay, this sounds great of understanding. And are these patients recommended to continue their regular life, or they find difficulty during the treatment to continue the
No. They can have a regular life. There is no problem.
There's no problem about that. And what kind of deficiency do you often see for patients with Bell's palsy? Any kind of vitamin deficiency do you see mostly, or do you recommend something for them?
First of all, when it comes fear.
Fear comes also. Any medicines
that is more actually, because we have to take their mental health also. Then only they improve in life. Okay. So they think that is the end of life.
So the fear factor and mental is very important.
Like a vitamin vitamin D deficiency, vitamin B12, sometimes it can happen.
Okay, it is.
But fear actually, engulf these people. Because anybody, like if it happens to me also, I will, because I want to look good, right? Absolutely. Then, you don't feel that confidence to go and meet people. That is one of the social problems what they face.
Friends, we are watching a program, Aware and Care, where we're talking to Dr. Ambika Nair about Bell's palsy. And the most important takeaway from this program is it's completely curable. And there are many celebrities that we know across the globe. And we talk about celebrities also because they are social figures, and many times we get our stories from them too, to understand there is hope for certain problems. So there are many celebrities whom I personally and you also know from the news that they had Bell's palsy, and today they have recovered and they are doing great programs and great presentations across the globe. So when there is a problem, the first thing you need to do is not Google, but also go to the doctor and get the treatment. Dr. Nair, what kind of foods would actually strengthen the cranial nerve?
No, we have to see that whether it is severed or not, actually more. Okay, so there is nothing like that what we can do. but like there are very good herbs which will pacify the nerve.
Great.
So,
Okay.
yeah, that will take care actually. And, like it is actually this disease is like named after another doctor, Sir Charles. He was an anatomist and he was a surgeon too.
Absolutely.
So it was in 19th century. Okay, so he only told that like because of the severing of this cranial nerve, palsy can happen. So that's why it is called Bell's palsy.
Bell's palsy. So when a patient has been treated completely of Bell's palsy, there are certain things that he should avoid. What are those? And is there a possibility to this problem to come back again at some point in life?
Yeah, if they don't take care, they will, it can happen actually. Like a very cold food and all, we will tell them not to take. Exposing to very cold weather. They should cover their head. Covering of their head is more important. Covering the ear is more important. So this all we tell them.
Dr. Nair, we should have banners across the globe which mentions this, so that children, teenagers see that. Cold is a damage-creating weather, which, it's a long-term effect. People don't see it instantly, and we as children remember our parents talking about it. Now, Dr. Nair, I just want to go back to the first part of our conversation because something else is also coming to my mind. So the first moment when somebody feels that thing that they have something going onto their face, it's Bell's palsy. They may not know the name of it. If they're watching the program, next time they would be able to name it. But if they're not watching it or they just heard about it, what is it that could damage the nerves further? Like some people tend to put ice cold water on their face. Okay, let me wake up properly and see that everything is okay.
No, they can do a little bit of hot water fermentation.
Hot fermentation. Okay,
that they can. And like if the eyes are like it is wide open, so they should put some lubricating eye drops. There are so many things available in Ayurveda also.
Okay.
Yeah, and they can massage their face properly. Yeah, in Ayurveda we do the Panchakarma, means we take care of that actually. The massage is not like that. Facial massage, especially for this Bell's palsy, special things are there for that. Special pijus will be done. Nasyams are done. Talam is done. Karna Puranams are done. Take care. Shirodhara. Abhyangam.
And on a parting note, I also want to check with you, and it's a very odd question, but no question is wrong when you ask a doctor.
No issue.
Does an annual checkup of the ear also help to know that there's possibility of something happening, or it's people don't check their ear? They don't have annual ear checkups. Mostly people have.
No. Physical checkup actually they will do, but because it's it can happen to anybody.
It can happen to anybody.
Yeah. So because actually nobody can point out. Yeah.
Those are a couple of points that we have to focus today on this program, that it is not hereditary. It can happen to anybody, any age group. And the most important part is that it's curable anytime. And it is curable also. And Ayurveda also has solutions for this particular problem. So if you or any dear one of yours is currently going through this problem, please reach out to Dr. Ambika Nair and team. And she always mentions it's not only about her and her team. At any point of time, a doctor's consultation is a must. Dr. Ambika Nair, thank you so much for today's episode. But is there any parting note that you want to give to our viewers regarding Bell's palsy? Please go ahead.
No, just don't get panic. Actually, there's a a solution for everything. Panic only creates issues. So don't lose the confidence. You will go back to the same stage. Don't worry for that.
Absolutely. That is such a beautiful, assuring note. And I want to thank Dr. Ambika Nair and her entire team and all our wonderful viewers who are watching, sharing these episodes with everybody globally. Thank you so much, Dr. Nair. I look forward to our next episode with you here on Aware and Care. Thank you.
Thank you so much.